Hi, welcome to session 21 in our discussion of how the Frankfurt School governance model has become the dominant governance model in the United States currently. We are talking about the third tenet of the Frankfurt School governance model: reject religion as oppressive. So as we discussed in session 20 when we started our discussion of this third tenet, I have been hesitant to discuss religion because I have a dog in the fight. I am a committed Christian. Specifically, I am a Protestant, a branch of Christianity that rejects popes, bishops, and priests as unnecessary and frequently corrupt. More specifically, I am a Reformed Protestant. We focus on items of faith that are sometimes called Calvinism. For Christians, especially in Europe, but also in the colonies of European countries and empires, differences in beliefs that arose in the 16th and 17th centuries, prior to the founding of the United States, were frequently violent differences. Thousands of people across Europe lost their lives as zealots on all sides of these differences committed atrocious acts to gain the upper hand in what beliefs were the law of the land, as princes and kings sought power and church backing during the emergence of sovereign nations out of feudal medieval states. Now, this was on top of the thousands who had died as popes, bishops, and priests used the power of the medieval church to try and wipe out Protestantism in the first place. And this was on top of the thousands of Christians and Muslims who died during the Crusades of the Middle Ages, which was on top of the thousands of Christians who died in the first 3 centuries of the current era, as the Romans and the Goths and the Visigoths and the Franks and the Celtics sought to have everyone either worship Caesar or their pagan deities. And finally, I believe there's good reason to conclude that many of the atrocities of European colonization were focused on helping one or another of the various branches of Christianity gain an advantage with new populations during the era of colonization. Needless to say, the history of violent differences between branches of Christianity was front and center in the minds of the authors of liberalism in England and Western Europe during the Enlightenment, and in the minds of the authors of our Constitution when that document was ratified in 1787. Our First Amendment was universally agreed to by all to help ensure that we would never have a state religion nor a government able to control anyone's religious beliefs or their free demonstration of those beliefs. That separation of religious functions from government functions is simply not enough, not sufficient for the Frankfurt School or its predecessor Marxism. Honestly, though neither appears to have been motivated by the violence of the earlier centuries, they simply saw religion as both a tool of those in power and complicit in the oppression of the masses to an extent that demands more than just separation, rejection. We will proceed further with our discussion of the Frankfurt School tenet, reject religion, in session 22. Aloha.